Go! What's going on in Hot Atlanta? Live from Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6 brings back the hottest hip-hop radio show live from K.L.P Entertainment and K.L.P Studios. It's K.L.P Aftermath. Morning with your host, K.L.P Kennedy Lucas.
You know what it is? Put your hands up.
Tune in now on any audio platform. Go.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Mashing the crap out of that button. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. Now, first and foremost, welcome to the podcast. First and foremost, we came into the studio and so Hope was like, "Dang, Kenny, are you going to show your muscles again on this show?" I promise y'all, I'm not going to be showing my muscles on every episode that we do. This just be the first shirt, like the first shirt that I see in my closet. I just yoink. Come to the studio and I get it going. So, I apologize for it. I look kind of good, but I apologize for that because I know a lot of people. I think the last episode I wore my green Crunch shirt. Shout out to Crunch, by the way, y'all. Shout out to them. They got me looking right. They do. I'm excited. All right. Y'all don't like it? Please don't click off. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another exciting podcast here today. This is the K.L.P Aftermath podcast, powered by and presented by Our Heart Media. You guys are tuning in for it. And by the way, it is a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday, January 13th, early in the morning. We hope that everyone is having a great start to their week so far. Let me tell you, it's been a great start of the week. You know, the week is just getting started. Yesterday was very, very good. We premiered not just the ordinary podcast, ladies and gentlemen, in Hope, but of course, what had happened was podcast. Shout out to my girl Evelyn Letitia. And if you guys enjoyed yesterday's episode, we hope that you guys did. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to that channel. And follow us on Instagram as WHHW Radio 1. On that Instagram page, over 1,400 followers, by the way. Very excited for that. And we hope that everyone likes the content for there because it is one of those things that I get very, very excited for. By all means, you can follow our Instagram, get our clicks up, get our likes up, and you guys can watch full episodes of our podcast over there and then glimpse of our podcast. So we hope that y'all we hope that y'all like the direction that we're going in, because it is quite amazing. That show is just so popular. I gotta say, and I said it last week, Hope and audience, a lot of people. I'll be honest, a lot of people like that show better than they like this show. Not to say that K.L.P Aftermath is going anywhere because I enjoy doing this show as well. But, a lot of people tend to cater to, what happened was because, I have somebody in the studio that I am relating to and I'm talking to. And it's just one of those things that I get genuinely excited. And Evelyn, every time she comes into the studio, she gets tremendously excited when the cameras roll, the lights go on in the studio, and it's just really, really amazing. A lot of people chime into it. So I do hope that everyone enjoyed that episode yesterday. We've got a great week, by the way. I got to do an air horn for the week because, we've got 2 or 3 episodes of K.L.P Aftermath. And of course, if you guys, I'm probably going to announce it at some point this week. Coffee Talk is back, but we're switching Coffee Talk up again. You'll see the poster. We're adding Simone Teagues to the show. Shout out to my girl Simone. Me and Simone did a podcast before, but she had to take a step back because Simone had some personal things that she had to, take care of, and those things I won't mention on this public show. But now that she feels that she's ready to come back in front of the mic, so it's going to be me, Simone, and Hope with our new vamped show called just Coffee Talk, and Spotify will be powered and presenting that show. So again, this show is presented by Our Heart Media, and then Spotify is going to help us out with Coffee Talk. So I hope that you guys enjoy that show. Damn, it's a lot of shows that I have going on, but that show is going to be like a 15 to 20 minute show. It won't be an hour show like this show or What Happened Was show. Coffee Talk will be a 15 to 20 minute show for everybody to just kind of take a listen to, and we talk about topics of conversation, current news on that show for in the morning to occupy, our listeners. Because a lot of people, I tell you, a lot of people listen to us. This content thing is ever growing, and this is one of the things that I am working on, ladies and gentlemen. This is part of my what I call my locked in season. I'm going all in, right? I'm going all in with content, giving you guys as much content as I possibly can, without being burnt out, right? Because I've had it to where I'm doing a lot of shows and I'm doing a lot of things that get burnt out. I'm learning to take my mind at ease and be kind of on a schedule with K.L.P Entertainment Filmworks and our content, and just kind of take a breath and take a moment and just really enjoy creating the content. Because when I had the content and doing podcasting before years ago, I got, and even the months ago, I got burned out, right? And I kind of felt a little stuck. And I took a break from podcasting because it was just a lot. But now, I went to church. I'm going back to church as part of my spiritual journey. By the way, church is going really, really well. I do say to a lot of my fellas out there, if you are in the Atlanta area, DeKalb or Gwinnett, I go to Change Church, Change Worship. I've enrolled into a boot camp. It's called Made Men Boot Camp Ministry. And what that is, by the way, real quick, you guys can sign up, fellas. You can sign up and you can learn to become more spiritual and become more of a gentleman. It's just one of those things that I just genuinely enjoy doing. I do enjoy going to church, but I'm really, really excited to be a part of that ministry. I can't wait to see what that boot camp looks like, because that's going to be quite amazing when it comes down to it. Learning to become more of a man myself, to become a better man in God's light and God's image. I can't wait for the boot camp. So I've been doing that. I've been, meditating, going to church, doing my thing, working out, and I think I got my mind right back into it, so that way I don't get burnt out with this content. So Coffee Talk's amazing. K.L.P Aftermath is going good. What Happened Was is going great. Along with the Lucas Tribune and One Big Question. Those shows I just help produce. I'm not really on those shows. But we just got a lot of great content coming out, and I just learning to be not be burnt out, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm learning to not be burned out when it comes down to it. And I've been feeling good. Yesterday was a great day. If you guys know, I do work in institution as well. Boy, howdy, let me tell you, I do a lot. But I'm a technician. I work in IT, and it feels good to see students back on campus from Christmas break. Spring season is here. It gets me very, very excited when it comes down to that, because I genuinely enjoy it when students come back on campus, because it has campus life, and the spirit is there. Everybody's going to class, and we're doing our technical things as well. So I get very, very excited when it comes down to that. And yesterday, shout out to the gym again. So I peeped quite a few things. The first thing I peeped, I think I'm learning my body. I shout out to Bree. Shout out to her. She get an air clap for her. She's awesome. So me and her, we were talking, and I think she kind of gave me a good advice. She said that it's always good to take time off from the gym. And it's not to say that I'm slowing down with my workout routine, because I certainly am not. But this is what I feel, because I did this last week, and I think it works. And I say to a lot of people, yes, strive in the gym, go to the gym as much as you possibly can. But I am on the believer side now that it's okay to take time off from the gym. Let me tell you what I mean. So I went to the gym. My last gym session was, my last gym session was Sunday. But I went to the gym last on Wednesday, and then I took Thursday and Friday off. I didn't go to the gym at all those 2 days. Because after Wednesday's workout, my body was hurting me so bad, right? I was so stiffed. My muscles was aching, because if you guys know, in the science term, when you lift heavy, because I'm starting to lift a little bit more heavier now. When you lift heavy, lift a lot of weights and gaining a lot of gains in muscles, they ache, right? Because your muscles are pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling and tearing. And that's what creates soreness, right? My arms were hurting, my legs was hurting, my back was hurting, because I'm doing these extraneous workouts. Great workouts, by the way. I'm not hurting myself. I'm not overextending myself, ladies and gentlemen. But I was doing a lot of just extended workout routines to where my body was really aching. My body on Wednesday was hurting so bad I had to take some Advil, some pain reliever, because it hurt that bad. Um, so then I said, and then in the office I'm stiffed, I could barely move. I said, okay, I think I need to take 2 days off from gym. I think I'm working out a little too much. And there is a thing that is called overworking out, like working out, overly working out is what I'm saying. And people do it, right? Bodybuilders work out every day because that's their mindset, and to me it's incredible. But I'm starting to learn my body a little bit. My body aches. If you guys don't know, I do have a hyperactive thyroid, something that I can't get rid of, unfortunately. I'm watching what I'm eating. I'm decreasing salmon and cheese and just trying to watch what I eat in that regard. But I do have a hyperactive thyroid. I'm going to say I used to because, God forbid, knock on wood here. But I also have a what's that called? Overactive what's it called, Hope? Overactive asthma. I forgot what that term goes. It's like when you're doing too much, you barely can breathe. My asthma sparks up. I haven't had an asthma attack in years. Knock on wood, by the grace of God, I haven't had an asthma attack in years. I want to say it's been about what, 6 years since I had an asthma attack. God forbid that happens, but it's been a minute because I've been eating better, I've been working out, and it's been really, really impactful. So I do gotta say, it's one of those things that, okay, I'm listening to my body, and I just think my body needs a break, right? And I say to a lot of my gym goers on a physical and a health tip, listen to your body. I get it. Everyone wants to work out every day because they're trying to get to a goal. I understand it because I'm trying to get there too. Even though I look good in camera, I'm doing I still ain't where I want to be, right? But I'm learning to listen to my body because if you guys know, I'm 29, and I joke around this because this 29 is very young. I'll be the age of 30, right? Sometimes it creaks up when your knees crackle and your back crackles when you get up from bed. It happens to me. And I'm getting 30 is a big milestone for me. So I have to now understand and listen to my body. And that's one of the things that I am doing. I am listening to my body. I took 2 days off, Thursday and Friday, to just focus on media, to focus on work, and to just rest my body when I can. Then Saturday came. And Saturday, boy howdy, I had one of the best workouts I've ever had. And I think taking a break helps. Saturday was fantastic. I went on Sunday after church. Great workout. Got a lot of push in. Yesterday, Monday, was really, really good too because I went after work. Typically, and I think I talked about this a few episodes ago, my after work workouts are just the best. Like, as soon as I leave the office around 5, shut down K.L.P Entertainment, Filmworks, and everything. We got the work done for today. I'm heading to the gym. Those be my best workouts is after work because I had lunch at 12, so my food is digested. I'm a little hungry, but I'm gonna get my workout in, and then now I'm pushing, right? So now today, Tuesday, I'm going to be, take a break from the gym, focus on media stuff, and then I'll be back Wednesday and see how that goes. And I think taking a break, just a day break, not a day or 2 days, you should take a break from the gym so that way you're getting more of an effective push. And I feel like that's happening. I feel like that's working best for me. And like I say, everybody find your routine. Find what works for you. What works for me may not work for that person, right? Some people find it to where if they got to go to the gym every day, by all means, go to the gym every day. But I'm learning to slow down, listen to my body, and do what's in my means. And I think my workouts are more effective when I take breaks. So it's just one of those things that I get very, very excited for. And today's a rest day. Yesterday was fantastic. Today's going to be a rest day. We'll see how it goes tomorrow when it comes down to my workout routine. But it's been really, really good for that as well. And the one thing that I peeped to, and this is kind of this is a story. This is the story for the show as well. Before we get to the news announcements and everything that we need to talk about, but I also peeped something else. that I'm very, very excited for. Um, I I peeped something. This is about girls. You guys know I like to talk about my women. And this was a story that my buddy Chris, if you guys know, I talked about his work story in last episode. My buddy Chris, we joked about it. Um, and Chris, my friend Chris, will say, "Boy, Kennedy, you like too many white girls." And I'm like, okay, sure. I do like. See, I don't have a type when it comes down to color. I don't have a type. As long as your personality is pretty, that's all that really matters to me. But hence the title of this podcast. I also like McQueens. Boy, howdy, let me tell you, I've had a lot of interactions with my chocolate girls lately. My black girls lately. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's me looking really good in the gym. I do think it's the beard and mustache combo. Hope she says that she like it. She's digging it. Monica is digging this new look of mine. I think I'm keeping this look with the beard and the mustache. I do use every Man Jack. Shout out to them. That's a company that does beard oil, beer butter, and beer wash. I use that on my face for my beard and mustache combo. And then, of course, I do cut my hair. Shout out to Byron. Going to see him on Saturday. I do cut my hair to a fade out because it just looks better with the fade out, cut out, and the beard. I know my hair looks a little crazy because Byron, shout out to Byron, his hours is kind of all over the place. I'm the type of person where I like to go to the barber shop, get in, get out. So Saturday before the gym, I'm going there at 9, cutting my hair, going to the gym, and then around 3, 4 o'clock, Evelyn's coming to the studio to do a podcast, right? I just like to get in and get out when it comes down to the barbershop. And maybe it's just those things that's going on because a lot of beautiful, beautiful black women that I've seen lately have been noticing me and talking to me and just really trying to get to know her brother. And I think I like it. I think I like the attention that I'm perceiving. And I only say that because, I don't just like white girls. I like black girls. I like Indian girls. I like Asian girls, right? If your personality is pretty and if you are of the caliber where your personality and you're humble and if you're a woman of faith, you believe in a man of God and you believe spiritually about ministry, I don't care what color you are. But let me tell you something about these black queens out here, Hope. Because Hope is a black queen, right? They're pretty. They're gorgeous. They smell good. They want to give you some love, right? There's just something about it that make you go, ooh wee. I don't know what it is, but I've noticed it, and then it's just really in the gym because, I've met quite a few ladies in the gym, my black queens in the gym, and you just really realize how really nice some ladies are now. I've seen some mean ones now. And not just mean black girls. I've seen mean white girls, mean Indian girls, mean Asian girls too. I'm not, I don't stereotype there. But I love that attention. And how the way I do it, ladies and gentlemen, I think a lot, and this is a lot of, in general, really, this is girls, again, doesn't matter skin color, but I think a lot of the women understand that I'm a little bit different, right? The stereotype is that some black women, I'll say, go for the rough and tough dudes, right? The hard, tough ass, hard stone type of dudes, right? And I can be hard to a certain extent. I could be rough on the edges to a certain extent, right? I was rude to a trainer that one day. She was a black queen. She was training, and I was just so rude to her. And the one thing I did do a couple of days ago, I did go up to her when she was getting ready for her class. I did go up to her and I apologized, right? Because I'm on this new journey. Again, 2026 is the year of forgiveness as well for me. I'm forgiven. I'm apologizing to men or women that I've hurt in the past few months. And I hurt her feelings. I really did. I said some very offensive things. I went to the manager to complain about her. I was being a Ken, right? The comparison to a Karen. And I felt really bad because that day I was just having a bad day. And I went up to her and I said, "Hey, my name is Kennedy. We talked. I was being an ass towards you. And for that, I apologize." I think where I'm going to this story is I think it's okay for us black dudes to first cry when you're upset about something and to apologize. I never want to hurt my black queens like I hurt that young lady that one time. I never want to do that again because it really stung me. It stung me to my core. It stung me to my heart. And I'm a firm believer that whoever I marry, whoever my girlfriend would be there, if she is a white queen or a black queen, my queens in general, doesn't matter their color, I never want to hurt their feelings. I never want to be rude. But I also don't want to disrespect my black queens because on the stereotype, I've seen that happen, right? It really grinds my gears when I saw this was a couple of weeks ago, and it's been all over the news where a Morehouse student was strangling a Spelman College student. And that bugged me so much because that is a black man hurting my black queen, right? And it does happen, ladies and gentlemen. It does happen where, and it could go both ways, really. But I've seen it to where my black men beat our black queens, right? Beat their asses, and it just really stings me to the core. I never want to do that to my black queen. The only time I'm touching her is when we getting down and dirty. That's the only time I'm touching my black queen. But I never want to strangle, punch, kick, smack, slap my black queens. Let alone be so disrespectful. Right? And it's the same way, right? It's the same kind of way because my black queens do hurt our black kings sometimes. It may not, sometimes these ladies can punch and kick, but they can cuss them out. It could emasculate them, make them feel less than, right? Because I've had that experience before in my previous employee, when I worked at another institution, Georgia State, don't care. I worked for a black lady that was so disrespectful and so evil that it just made me felt some type of way. Obviously, I got over it years later, and now I'm starting to see black queens, and I've been seeing them, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm seeing a lot of black queens in my area that are noticing me as a sweetheart. And I am a softie. Yeah, I'm strong. I work out. I try to be respectful. I try to be, a man, but I also am a softie too. I do have a sensitive side, right? If I think wrong is wrong, wrong is wrong. I try to do things the right way. And sometimes some ladies may not like it because it might be quote unquote sassy or too soft. And I get it. I understand it. But I think a lot of the ladies that I've seen in my circle, ladies and gentlemen, I think that they're going for a little bit of a soft, let your guard down just a little bit, right? Be friendly, be nice. The ladies I see at the gym, I don't read too much into it, right? Because again, I'm still sticking to it that, you got to be careful how you approach the ladies in the gym. But I learned to just be me and to be a gentleman and to be understanding, but also do my thing, right? Also, if I flirt, I'm going to flirt a little bit, but I don't give it too much. And I try not to be an asshole, right? There was this girl at the gym on, I think it was Sunday, and I was doing the tires. I was doing a tire. They have this tire thing at the gym that I do a lift with. It is so incredible. And the one thing that I do at the gym, and maybe fellas take notes on this, it was in a different position, and she was doing hip thrusts, what looked like hip thrusts, and I was doing the tires. I'm like, I feel like and I'm squatting, and then she's right behind me. I'm like, I feel like my ass is just like in her space, and my ass don't stink, right? I take showers before I go to the gym. Obviously, I spray it down, I wash it down, I wash my ass before I go to the gym. Fellas, please take a shower before you go to the gym. Don't roll out of the bed going to the gym stinking. That's just my PSA to my fellas. So I don't stink. I'm sweaty, and it's just like, that's just like my ass is in your face. Let me move this tire up a little bit. And she says that, it didn't bother her. She's fine, and I said to her, like, hey, I understand that you saying it's fine, but it ain't fine with me, right? I got to give you your space because that's just me, right? If you're working out, you're doing a hip thrust, your business is, when you do a hip thrust, I'm just I'm gonna make sure you got space and you feel comfortable. That's just how I be. I don't know what it is. That's just how I roll. I like to give my ladies their space when they're working out, because I'm not an asshole. Right, I try not to be an asshole in the gym. That's not in me to be an asshole in the gym. That's why that same fitness trainer that was doing her classes, that I was rude to her that one day because I was just having an off day. I had to apologize to her and say, "Hey, I am usually not an asshole, but I was an ass that night, and I apologize. It's my fault." Right? That's just one of the things that I'm not afraid to do, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not afraid to apologize, in the gym when I need to, right? So that's just a PSA. That is the story. But shout out to my black queens. I've never been to where I don't like black girls. That's never been me. Chris joked with me. I love all women. It doesn't matter your color, your type, your religion. Well, it doesn't really matter your religion beliefs, really. But I like all women, but my black queens, I see y'all. You guys are, y'all something else special. Sorry. All right, so we got Hope in the building to give us the latest front page news with hip hop. So take it away, Hope.
Good morning, Kennedy and fans. Here's the front page news on the show. Awards season keeps chugging along, and the worlds of hip-hop and R&B are along for the ride. On Sunday night, January 11th, Teyana Taylor won her first career Golden Globe, Best Supporting Female Actor in a Motion Picture, for her bombastic performance in Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another, which won 4 trophies total, cementing the film as the Best Picture Oscar frontrunner. Ryan Coogler's Michael B. Jordan-led Sinners, another leading Oscar contender, picked up 2 wins, including Best Original Score for Ludwig Göransson. Next month, February 1st, Taylor will compete for Best R&B Album at the 2026 Grammys. Kendrick Lamar leads with 9 nods at the upcoming ceremony. Doechi boasts 5 in Wicked. For Good Star, Cynthia Erivo competes in 3 categories across as many fields. Notably, all 3 artists alongside Taylor and Jordan are nominated for Entertainer of the Year at the 2026 NAACP Image Awards, which announced its nominations Monday morning, January 12. While stars flooded the red carpet on the West Coast, 2 East Coast hip-hop figures dominated news headlines. On Thursday, January 8th, New Jersey rapper Fetty Wap was released from prison 11 months earlier than expected after serving over 3 years behind bars on federal drug charges. The same day, President Trump told the New York Times that he had no plans to pardon Diddy, despite the disgraced mogul self-penning a letter seeking one. With Fresh Picks, Billboard aims to highlight some of the best and most interesting new sounds across R&B and hip-hop, from Jill Scott's latest offering to Chief Keef's new banger. Be sure to check out this week's Fresh Picks in our Spotify playlist below. Freshest Find, Jill Scott, Pressure. Just 1 week after launching her new era with Beautiful People, Jill Scott has shared another taste of her forthcoming To Whom It May Concern LP, Pressure. Co-produced by Adam Blackstone and Vincent V.T. Tolan, the new brass-laden track finds the neo-soul queen crooning about the frustration that comes from futilely trying to fit love into neat boxes. I wasn't the aesthetic. I guess I get it. So much pressure to appear just like them. Her languid delivery stretching each syllable with jaded apathy. Freshest Find, Jill Scott, Pressure. Just 1 week after launching her new era with Beautiful People, Jill Scott has shared another taste of her forthcoming To Whom It May Concern LP, Pressure. Co-produced by Adam Blackstone and Vincent V.T. Tolan, The new brass-laden track finds the neo-soul queen crooning about the frustration that comes from futilely trying to fit love into neat boxes. I wasn't the aesthetic. I guess I get it. So much pressure to appear just like them. Her languid delivery stretching each syllable with jaded apathy. Kyle Dennis Chief Keef, Harry Potter. Chief Keef as a wizard in Hogwarts is a frightening sight for the Harry Potter lexicon. Sosa returned to kick off 2026 with a cinematic ode to Harry Potter. The Chicago drill pioneer doesn't waste time diving into the thumping production, and he's sounding clearer than ever. Sosa reflects on buying hella choppers as a teen star and compares himself to Harry himself because of the scars on their faces. Keef is relentless, fitting 4 verses into the dynamic 5-minute cut. Come for Sosa's Shark Tank pitch and stay for the Kim Possible references. After not dropping a project in 2025, it seems like Chief Keef is getting back to it in 2026. Freshest find, Jill Scott, Pressure. Just 1 week after launching her new era with Beautiful People, Jill Scott has shared another taste of her forthcoming To Whom It May Concern LP, Pressure. Co-produced by Adam Blackstone and Vincent V.T. Tolan, the new brass-laden track finds the neo-soul queen crooning about the frustration that comes from futilely trying to fit love into neat boxes. I wasn't the aesthetic. I guess I get it. So much pressure to appear just like them. Her languid delivery stretching each syllable with jaded apathy. Kyle Dennis, Chief Keef, Harry Potter. Chief Keef as a wizard in Hogwarts is a frightening sight for the Harry Potter lexicon. Sosa returned to kick off 2026 with a cinematic ode to Harry Potter. The Chicago drill pioneer doesn't waste time diving into the thumping production, and he's sounding clearer than ever. Sosa reflects on buying hella choppers as a teen star and compares himself to Harry himself because of the scars on their faces. Keef is relentless, fitting 4 verses into the dynamic 5-minute cut. Come for Sosa's Shark Tank pitch and stay for the Kim Possible references. After not dropping a project in 2025, it seems like Chief Keef is getting back to it in 2026.
Thanks, Hope. Now, before I get to my sports news, ladies and gentlemen, I've got 2 things I wanted to talk about here on the podcast. First and foremost, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Golden Globes. Shout out to the winner. Shout out to, first of all, Tiana Taylor. Tiana Taylor has won for Best Actress in the Leonardo DiCaprio's latest movie, One Battle After Another. I saw that movie, and we're gonna do a review on that movie soon. I just haven't wrote the script for it, so I can't really review something quite just yet because I got to do a script for that review, and we might even talk about it on Coffee Talk. But that movie was really, really good. I think Tiana Taylor embodied her character. I really think she did. I think she was a boss bitch. In respectful, ladies, boss bitch in that movie. So I think it was well worth for her winning the Golden Globe award for the Best Actress. Very, very excited for her career. You know, not only as a choreographer and dance director, she's been in movies lately, but she's been doing really good in movies. I want to see her win an Oscar. I really do, because I think Tiana Taylor is just so talented, not only as a singer, artist, and dancer, but also an actress. So she made it. I wish she was my wife. I really do, because she is just so talented. And shout out to Ryan Coogler's movie for best, not best movie, I think best something in the Golden Globes. But I wanted to talk a little bit briefly about the snubs. Okay, I'm on that side of the fence. Honestly, I do think Michael B. Jordan was snubbed from the Golden Globes, simply because Sinners is a great movie. Fantastic movie. Sinners was one of those movies that you have to see. And even Evelyn, on what happened was, Evelyn teased me because before that I haven't seen the movie. I've seen the movie. But before that, she wanted to talk about it so bad, but I haven't seen it. I do think that Michael B. Jordan was snubbed for this because not only that he played two characters, but he embodied those two characters, Smoke and Slacks. He embodied those two characters really, really well, right? He was a gangster in that movie, right? I think Sinners was very, very good because Ryan Coogler gave more of a horror thriller, but a meaningful, like every scene in the movie had a meaning, right? It was symbolic, right? If you guys want my review, we did a review a few podcast episodes ago, but I do think that he was snubbed, honestly, because playing two characters is hard to do. And they had to be two completely different characters. These characters, they're two completely different characters. They're not the same character, they're the same person, but two separate characters that Michael B. Jordan was able to embody and really give one of his best works. And for that, he didn't win a Golden Globe. And Ryan Coogler didn't win for Best Director for the year for Sinners. Come on, guys. Come on. I'm very sad about it, but honestly, you got to be honest. If they're not winning Golden Globes, unfortunately, we'll see what the Oscars do. We'll see what the Oscars do for sure. I think we have to, as us people in our community, I think it's time for us to start thinking about. And I hate to say this because I do want to win a Golden Globes. I do want to win an Emmy and an Oscar one day, but I honestly do think we also need to create, and maybe this is something that's already been created, but just kind of creating a black version of the Golden Globes. Not necessarily because you got the NAACP, right? Which is an amazing award show. But we need a black Oscars. We need a black Golden Globes. I don't want to say Emmy because really Emmys, they're for us as well. But it's just, and it's not to say that Golden Globes and Oscars are racist and they don't care about black people. That's not what I'm saying. But we need our own awards show for our work to be valued best. Hate to say that because Oscars and Golden Globes has been around for years. But if we're trying to be more recognized for our work in the black community, it's time for us to create our own show, right? If I had $20 million in the bank, that's something I would build, a black version of the Oscars, a black version of Golden Globes, just for us, right? To recognize our work and our talent. Because honestly, you cannot tell me, as a podcaster and as a filmmaker myself, you can't tell me that Ryan Coogler didn't win a Golden Globe. I mean, they won the other night, but for Best Direction, and Michael B. Jordan didn't win for Best Actor, playing two goddamn characters in a movie. You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. So I got to say it, guys. I hate to say that, but I do think those two gentlemen was snubbed at the Golden Globes, and I can't wait to see what the Oscars do, right? If they got nominated, that's a huge achievement because honestly, I really want one of my movies to be nominated at least. But we have to recognize the elephant in the room. We have to do it. But even though they didn't win a lot of Golden Globes, honestly, Sinners made a lot of money. Michael B. Jordan made a lot of money. Ryan Coogler made a lot of money, right? So it's good to see that they're getting their bread, but it's just that validation of that trophy on their mantle that they want. And it's not to, and I'll say this too, it's not to discredit all the other actors and directors that make projects. I'm not discrediting them, but Sinners was just something different. Sinners is more of an icon type of movie, right? That's going to be around for years and people are going to relay it. I'm going to see it. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw that film professors are teaching their classes using Sinners, right? But I just got to say, I do think those two gentlemen were snubbed. I honestly think they were snubbed at the Golden Globes. Again, we'll see what the Oscars do. We'll see what the Emmys do. But it's award season, so I wouldn't put it past them. I don't think Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler are studying it that much because they know what they did and the audience know what they did. But I just feel like that they needed. I just feel like they needed that win. Honestly, if I'm gonna be a fanboy, I just guess I'll be a fanboy. I'd love to work with Ryan Coogler. I really do because I think he's a genius. I think he's an excellent filmmaker, and I think he's able to really captivate his script and his writing in his movies. Love it or hate it, that's just how I feel. And speaking of great writing, Tell Me Lies premieres today. On tomorrow's episode, I'm going to do a review for episode one. I did do an episode, and it's K.L.P Aftermath podcast episode is titled Tell Me Lies, is when I did a review on Tell Me Lies. Season one, season two, I can't wait because the cast and crew is back. I can't wait for this season three because honestly, I think Tell Me Lies is pretty good. It's really, really good. And I'm also watching The Beast in Me. The Beast in Me is really, really good so far as well. I can't do a full review because I only watched one episode, but that show is really, really good from Netflix. It's going to be quite exciting when it comes down to it. And soon enough, guys, I will do a review on The Beast in Me. Maybe on the show, maybe on Coffee Talk. We'll see how that goes when it comes down to it. Now, coming up next, before we do our reading here, let's talk a little sports, shall we, Hope? Let's get into it. The gauntlet was laid well before New York Knicks owner James Dolan strolled into the WFN radio studio for a nearly half-hour interview, during which he discussed the Knicks' championship aspirations. We want to get to the finals, Dolan said last week ahead of New York's loss to the Eastern Conference leading Detroit Pistons, and we should win the finals. Then he lightly slammed his hand on the desk for emphasis, grasping the gravity of his words. Getting to the finals, we absolutely got to do. For Dolan, the Knicks reaching their first conference finals since 2000, which former coach Tom Thibodeau achieved last season, was not enough. Two-time Coach of the Year Mike Brown was brought in to get the Knicks over that hump back to the NBA Finals for the first time since 1999. So far in that mission, New York sits second in the East behind some thrilling moments, a Christmas Day comeback win, and a run to the NBA Cup title chief among them. But since their triumph in Las Vegas, the Knicks are 7-7 with the 29th ranked defense in the league. Nearing the halfway point of the season, do Dolan's Knicks seem any closer to breaking through? There are plenty of reasons why the Knicks should and shouldn't be playing deep into June this season. 3 reasons the Knicks will reach the finals conference: best, continuity, and playoff experience. The Knicks believed continuity would be an ultimate advantage, arguably one of the biggest reasons why the front office didn't go all in on the pursuit of Giannis Antetokounmpo last summer. Along with the fact Dolan fired Thibodeau, hired Brown, and there weren't any significant personnel moves before the start of the season, gives the impression he believes the Knicks have more than enough to get there. Brown has relied on the existing coaching staff, particularly assistant Rick Brunson, for insight on dealing with Josh Hart's early season role change. Brown called Brunson instrumental in keeping things together. Rick is fabulous the way he goes about his business, Brown told ESPN. He helps me with the pulse of this team. He knows all these guys very well, been around this group for years now. He's a guy I lean on a lot when it comes to communicating with guys. The 2 biggest perceived obstacles to the Knicks getting to the NBA Finals seem to fade before last summer even began. Tyrese Halliburton's Achilles injury in Game 7 of the Finals has sent the Indiana Pacers to the bottom of the conference, and the same injury to Jason Tatum 2 series earlier severely limited expectations for the Boston Celtics. But the Celtics have miraculously pulled themselves up the standings without Tatum, and with a remade roster around Jaylen Brown, Boston sits 3rd in the East on the back of torrid 3-point shooting, but it's truly unknown how the team will look come playoff time and what kind of conditioning Tatum will have if the superstar returns to the court before season's end. The Knicks' 31 playoff games over the past 2 seasons trails only the Pacers' 40, but far exceeds Detroit's 6, last season's first-round defeat to New York. An elite offensive 1-2 punch from an offensive standpoint. It's difficult to find a more explosive duo in the East than Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. Not only did Brunson have his clutch moment against Detroit to close out that first-round series, but he has ranked high in clutch time playoff scoring the past 2 seasons. Intangibly, He's who Brown turns to when things get tight. Short of his 6 turnovers showing against Detroit last week, he's sure-handed, and Brown has repeatedly praised him, stumping for Brunson to receive MVP consideration during the Knicks NBA Cup run. I hope now when you guys start talking MVP candidates, his name is one of the first to come out your mouth, Brown said last month. On this stage to get it done while winning is what, in my opinion, an MVP is all about. Brunson's 29.0 points per game are a career high, and he's shooting 38.9% from 3 on an average of 7.9 attempts, also a career high. To this point, it seems only the Knicks have 2 players who can carry an offense and create mismatches for long stretches among East contenders. The Philadelphia 76ers have Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid, but it's impossible to predict Embiid's health into the spring. Towns has been open about the sacrifices he has made while adjusting to Brown's system, and in his second season in New York, his overall production has tailed as he turned 30 in the season's first month. Brown has used wing Mikal Bridges as a secondary playmaker, while Towns has figured out how to best utilize his touches. Towns is still capable of big nights, even with the change in direction offensively, with all 5 of his 30-point nights occurring in wins. His lone 40-point night against the Minnesota Timberwolves was a loss. But when playoff defenses load up on stopping Brunson, the Knicks can still rely on Townsend. And that is the latest in sports news. So hopefully you guys, a lot of sports are going. A lot of news is going out for sports for sure. Now, towards the main event of the show here today. Now, I say this in every episode. If this is not your thing, you're free to click off right now, ladies and gentlemen. But if this is your thing, I'm reading God's Daily Wisdom for Men. This is 366 devotions from Boyd and Bailey. This is my religious, spiritual side of the show that I've incorporated with this show. And people have been loving it. Honestly, people have been liking it. If you guys know, you know. I'm going to say this in every episode. I've renewed my faith in God. My connection with God has been stronger than ever within the last few months. And I'm excited for it. I'm excited for a lot of things to happen, a lot of things to pop when it comes down to it. Now, I did say in last episodes when I did the reading, I won't go by the date anymore because I'm way behind. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm way behind with the date. So I'm just going to read each chapter for you guys and just give my spinoff as the main event for the K.L.P Aftermath podcast. So let's get into it. Wisdom speaks loud and out. Okay. Does not wisdom call out? Does not understanding raise her voice on the heights along the way where the paths meet? She takes her stand. That's Proverbs chapter 8, 1 through 2. So let's get to it. Wisdom is not shy. It proclaims itself and speaks out in public places. Like the Lord speaking to Moses on Mount Sinai, he spoke wisdom out loud with authority, clarity, and finality. John the Baptist boldly cried out a message of repentance and faith in Christ to the crowds. Wisdom is not a sacred, secluded in solitary confinement, waiting to be let out loud. It calls out publicly and openly. Because wisdom is so easily accessible, it is imperative we listen and learn from its instruction. Sunday morning teaching at your church should be a reservoir of wisdom. If not, consider transferring into fellowship where access to truth is easily found. Wisdom drowns out the whispers of gossiping fools because wisdom has the last word. Listen to wisdom, and you will learn how to follow the Lord. The way of wisdom works because it invites God's blessings. For example, financial standing to another's needs, repeating what you hear to confirm your comprehension, and if appropriate, offering ideas that may bring benefit. Parenting wisdom is to find couples whose children are upright, Learning from them, business wisdom is to build your enterprise on honesty and integrity, not compromising your conventions for cash. Wisdom has worthy things to say, so each day listen for it and learn. Train your ears to listen for wisdom in sermons and everyday conversations. Expose your eyes to wisdom in books and the Bible. Lastly, look for wise behavior to emulate from those who enjoy the fruits of faithful living. Wisdom speaks out so you can live it out loud. The Bible says, wisdom shouts in the streets. She raised her voice in the public square. Okay, now the question is for this reading, where is wisdom trying to get my attention, and how can I apply its truths? And that is the question from God's Daily Wisdom for Men. Ladies and gentlemen, this is 366 Devotions from Boyd and Bailey. Now, I do listen to wisdom. I think within the last few years or so, I did have a lot of people that gave me some great conversations. I think a lot of people who gave me great conversations were managers and directors, minus one. Right. Again, that one supervisor at Georgia State, she never gave me advice. But besides the point, before that, I've had a lot of people gave me some great advice about business, about being emotionally available, being intelligent, making the right move, saying the right things when it comes down to it. And I even had professors that gave me some great wisdom in business, and to learn how to be a great student and to learn to strive, right? To be the very, very best that I can and to be a watchful eye. I also learned wisdom from work environments, right? I worked in a little bit of corporate. I worked in hotels and hospitality, down to universities, down to, I think that's all the work environment besides K.L.P Entertainment Filmworks, but that's different. But in production companies, I've learned a lot of wisdom advice too. And learning to speak with wisdom and to do the right thing and to always do the right thing and know the right thing. And one thing that I've learned from one manager is to never pick sides, right? If you've got one coworker that wants to do a project A, for an example, but then you have another colleague that wants to do project B and they're bickering, always be that peacemaker and to find that medium, because if you do swing one or the other, it can lead to a negative outcome, right? Whether it's termination, whether it's some animosity, whether it's some discomfort, so you always want to do that. And then I also learned from another friend that told me that don't take things personal, right? Don't take things personal in the gym. Don't take things personal in your family lives, right? Take it with a grain of salt, understand it, but then especially when it comes down to work wisdom or work advice, the wisdom there is don't take it personal at work because you don't have to go home with it. There's a saying that my dad also said when I was frustrated at work one time. He said that, hey, you can be frustrated, but you don't have to take it home because they're not fucking you at home, right? They're not feeding you. There's the 3 F's. They're not feeding you, they're not financing you, and they're not fucking you, right? Those are the 3 F's that my dad, and honestly, that was great wisdom from my dad. He gave me that and said, if you know your 3 F's, they're not fucking you, they're not financing you, they're not feeding you, you don't have to worry about it, right? And that's really one of the greatest wisdoms that my dad taught me. My mom also taught me with her wisdom to always have a kind heart, right? Have a kind heart, do the right thing, even though it's wrong. Do the right thing, because in your heart, because my mom says, hey, your heart is just too pure, Lucas. This is what she said. Your heart is too pure to do the wrong thing. So I do say to a lot of people, stick with people who give you good wisdom. Don't stick with people that give you no advice or bad wisdom, because that's bad juju. But if they give you that good wisdom, it's important. I also thank my pastor. Shout out to Pastor Daniels from Change Church. As my pastor, of course, obviously I listen to his sermon, and he also gives us great advice, right? He gives us great discernment. He gives us great belief in our religion and our spirit. So I take good wisdom for that. And, this is just one of those things that, and then I have friends that joke about my spiritual journey, and I nearly smacked them because I said, that's something you don't joke about with me. Don't joke about my spiritual journey that I'm on with God. That's something you do not joke with. And I had a stern look too. I looked real mean, and they was like, okay, Kennedy, I'm just kidding. I was like, yeah, don't. And they never did ever since then because they know what I could do. But that is just the wisdom that I give. I also try to instill wisdom to a lot of my colleagues, my friends, especially my friends and colleagues that are a little bit younger, right? I also have to by carefully give advice to young colleagues, young students that I've seen either at the gym or out and about, and they notice me from campus. It's like, hey, here's my wisdom to you. This is my advice to you, because it's very, very important. I also gave non-college people, but friends that I know that are younger, financial advice, right? Because I said, hey, I had this one young lady, shout out to her. I think she's like 22 and I'm 29, and she wanted to know some financial advice. And I said, hey, at your age, I didn't have my financials figured out at 22, right? I struggled, but I gave her ABCD of how she can improve her financial plans. And, and I said, hey, let me know if it works. And it's tough, right? When you're that young trying to do your financials, it's tough. But I've learned it based off experience, and I was able to give that wisdom to her, and hopefully it's working for her. Again, that was a great read, God's Daily Wisdom for Men. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap up our podcast here today. K.L.P Aftermath podcast presented by Our Heart Media. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned because we got another episode tomorrow. We got a lot of content coming out this week. And always, we love you guys. Stay safe. The flu season is kicking, so I'd say boost your emergency if you can with emergency powder. Boost your immune system, ladies and gentlemen, and stay warm because it's been cold the last few days. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, that has been the K.L.P Aftermath podcast presented by Our Heart Media from K.L.P Entertainment Filmworks. We hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. So long, stay safe, and stay swanky. Yeah.